Hello, hello everybody. Good afternoon. We are going to start with our students book, please. Okay, so please open your students book on page number 10, and we are going to check the past simple in affirmative form. As you have already watched the videos and watched my video, I hope that the past simple is very clear for you. If you have any problems or do you have any doubts, please let me know so I can explain you in another way. Okay, so it says the past simple, and we have a question here. Is there a lottery in your country? Do you think it's a good idea to buy tickets? Yes or not? For example, do you think it's a good idea to buy tickets for the lottery here in Mexico to win the big plane, the official plane? What do you think about that? Do you agree or not? Do you think it's a good idea to buy these kinds of tickets or not? In my opinion, I think it's not a good idea. Maybe the lottery, it's okay, but not to win a big plane. What do you think about that? That's a very clear example that we have here in our country. Now it says, read the text. Are the lottery winners happy? For example, can you imagine if you win, I don't know, $300 million? Will you be happy or not? Obviously, I think that too. I will be very, very happy if I win $1 million, okay? So let's read this text. And it says, last weekend somebody bought a lottery ticket. Choose all the correct numbers and won millions. How lucky. Or maybe not. In the 1970s, scientists at the University of Illinois studied lottery winners and compared their levels of happiness with other people's. The results were interesting. The winners felt delighted for a short time, but after that, their happiness returned to normal levels. A similar study by the University of California in 2008 gave the same results. They looked at the lottery winners 6 months after they win and found completely normal levels of happiness. And for a few unlucky people, a huge lottery win was the start of major problems. Alex Todd, for example, won $13 million in 1990. He stopped working, spent the money quickly, and had terrible arguments with his family and friends. I'm sure that if you spend in a bad way all the money, your money will disappear and you won't have anything. And that won't make you happy. Do you agree? So let's check this. As you can see in this reading, we can find different kinds of verbs in the past tense. For example, we have phrases that show us the past simple tense, like last weekend. We have bought. We have this verb that shows the verb in the past tense. Studied, that's a regular verb in past. Returned, looked, were. Okay, and as you can see, you have different kinds of verbs. Take a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, not more, to underline all of the verbs that you can find in the past tense. Underline the verbs with color red and with color blue. I want you to circle the phrases that shows you the past tense. For example, last weekend. Okay, so you're going to circle last weekend and you're going to underline both. Okay, so try to do this, please, in the text. Take 1 or 2 minutes, not more, please. So we have these verbs returned, looked. Well, these are from the rules, so don't check this now. I'm going to give you more time. So, as you have finished, let's answer exercise 3. And it says, find all the past simple forms in the text in exercise 2. You have already done this. And match them with the rules, with the rules A to D in the Learn This box. So, rule A. We form the past simple form of regular verbs by adding ed to the infinitive. Remember, if we have regular want, we add ed, wanted. Talked, talked. In some of them, the pronunciation can change, okay? There are some rules about spelling change. For example, dropped, you have to double the letter P because we have consonant, vowel, consonant. So you double the letter P. Dropped. Marry, you change Y for IED, married. Move, it ends in E, you only add the letter D, moved. Some verbs have irregular past simple forms like go, went, begin, began, leave, left, take, took. All of them are irregulars, right? The past simple of the verb to be has two forms, singular and plural, be, was, and were. Do you remember that? Singular and plural form. So, according to the verbs that you underline from exercise number 2, I want you to write all of these verbs according to the rules of the use of the past simple tense in here. For example, tell me which verbs that you have in the paragraph here, it's according to the rule A. We form the past simple from regular verbs by adding ed to the infinitive. Okay, so you have your verbs now. Let's check your answers. Remember that you have to write your own answers first, and then we can check your answers with my answers, right? So let's check your answers. And we have, from rule A, we have the verb return and look. From rule B, it says there are some rules about spelling changes. We have studied, we change Y, compared, we add the, and stopped, we double the letter P. From rule C, it says some verbs have irregular past simple forms. And we have both, chose, won, felt, gave, found, spent, and had. And for rule D, we have the singular and the plural form. We have were and was, okay? So check your answers with my answers, please. And let's continue. Now we have the grammar builder. Everybody please go to page 124, okay? And please, I want you to write the past simple form of the verbs in exercise 1. Look, looked, is irregular. Study, studied. Stop, stopped. Die, died. And try to do the same with the irregular. Feel, felt. Live, left. Spent, spent. Remember, it's very important for you to learn all of the verbs in the past simple and in the past participle form. We are not going to use the past participle form, but it's going to be very useful for you to learn them, okay? So continue doing the same with the rest of the verbs. Please, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Okay, have you finished? Okay, so let's check your answers. Move, moved. Compare, compared. Agree, agreed. Enjoy, enjoyed. Realize, realized. Drop, dropped. Have, had. Give, gave. Win, won. Begin, began. Go, went. Get, got. Say, said. Okay? Now, in exercise 2, it says, write the correct past simple affirmative form of the verb to be. What's the past simple affirmative form of the verb to be? Was and were. Do you remember that? So it says, I was, very good, very relieved about my exam results. The sports center was or were? Okay, was. You were cross with me for being late. There were 5 winners. Nobody was at home. My grandfather was a student at Harvard University. We were on holiday in China last August, and Adam's party was amazing. Okay? Now from exercise number 3, it says, complete the sentences with the past simple affirmative form of the verbs in brackets. All the verbs are regular. So we have stop. And you tell me what's the ending of the regular verbs in the past simple? Ed. Okay, very good. So it says, the train to Birmingham stopped. In this exercise, you have to remind the spelling rules. In some of them, you only add D. In other verbs, you change Y for I. And in some of the other verbs, you double the consonant, right? My friends worked very hard for their exams. We tried some interesting dishes at the Lebanese restaurant. Last night, I planned my summer holiday. You seemed very upset yesterday. As you can see, we have some phrases like in this sentence, like yesterday, last August, and this morning, last weekend, that show us that you have to use the past tense. I chat with my cousin for hours. My uncle married his next door neighbor, and Theo moved house 3 times last year. Okay? Now, finally, we are going to answer exercise 4. And it says, complete the mail and use the past simple affirmative form of the verbs in brackets. Okay? How are you? All of them are irregular. So if you don't remember the past tense of these verbs, check on your list. You have a list of verbs at the end of your new books too. Or you can check the list from your green book, okay? Yes, in the red book you don't have a list of verbs, but you can check the list of your green book. At the end, do you remember that at the end of your green book you have a list of verbs? Please check them, okay? Dear Abby, how are you? I saw Ryan yesterday and we chat for hours about Zach's party. We both have. In number 2, I don't have enough space, but it's chatted, okay? Ed. Remember that all of the verbs must be in the past tense. We really enjoyed the music and the food. The food was good to Ryan. Ryan left just before midnight, but I stayed until 2 a.m. I felt so tired the next day. I hope Ryan's parents were okay about the mess. They went out for the evening. See you soon, okay? So, please check your answers here. You have your answers from 1 to 10, okay? Remember, answer your books first and then check them with my answers. Okay, if you have finished, Let's go back to page number 10, please. And it says, complete the sentences with the regular and irregular past simple forms from exercise number 3. So in this exercise, I'm going to give you a few minutes to answer this, and then we are going to check your answers with my answers, right? Okay, take your time, please. Okay, I'm back. So, have you finished? Let's check your answer. She won millions of dollars on the lottery. She spent all the money in only 3 years. I dropped my keys in the street. Luckily, I found them later. Our cousin went to university when she was only 15 years old, and she studied maths there. My grandfather married my grandmother in 1965, and they were together until she died last year. I left home when I was 19 and moved to London. Okay, so please everybody check your answers from here. You have your 5 sentences. Please check your answers with my answers. Okay, so let's continue. And we have a listening practice, and it says complete the text with the past simple form of the verbs in brackets, then listen and check. So first we are going to answer, and then we are going to listen. So it says, in 2002, 19-year-old British refuse collector Michael Carroll and his family were delighted when he won 9.7 million pounds in the lottery. He gave millions of pounds to charity and to friends and relatives. He also spent thousands of loud all-night parties over the next few years. He got into trouble with the police several times. His wife Sandra was cross and upset and decided to leave. Soon he had no money left, and in 2010 he began work as a refuse collector again. I'm just glad it's over, he said. Okay, so let's check your, listen please, and check your answers.
Lesson 1B. In 2002, 19-year-old British refuse collector Michael Carroll and his family were delighted when he won £9.7 million in the lottery. He gave millions of pounds to charity and to friends and relatives. He also spent thousands on loud all-night parties, and over the next few years, he got into trouble with the police several times. His wife, Sandra, was cross and upset and decided to leave. Soon, he had no money left, and in 2010, he began work as a refuse collector again. "I'm just glad it's over," he said.
Okay, so you have already listened to it. Now it says, what's your opinion of what happened to Alex Todd and Michael Carroll? Are their stories difficult to believe? For example, they won a lot of money and they spent all of their money and they go back to their life as they had before. Do you think it's difficult to believe? What do you think about this? So please write your answer in a little space here in your books, please, or use a post-it to write your answer, please. Now it says complete the sentences with the adjectives below and the past simple forms of the verbs in brackets. Do you remember that in the last class we checked some vocabulary about feelings? Okay? For example, you have bored, relieved, delighted, suspicious, upset, disappointed, and embarrassed. So you are going to use all of these adjectives and we are going to use the verbs that you have here in brackets in the past tense. So take a few minutes to answer this exercise, please, and then we're going to check it together. Okay? Okay, let's check your answers. Sandra Carroll felt upset when Michael spent all his money on Paris. Spencer was embarrassed when he dropped all his money on the floor on the shop. Bess was delighted when she won the essay competition. I felt a bit suspicious when the man said he was a millionaire. We were very disappointed when the music stopped and everyone left the party. I got a bit bored because Dan talked about his new girlfriend all the evening. You were extremely relieved when we found your mobile phone behind the sofa. Okay, so you have your answers here. Please check all of them. And if you have a mistake, please erase the mistake and correct your answer. Okay? So let's continue with the last exercise for today. Tell your partner about the time when you had these feelings. Use the past simple. I want you to write here in this exercise, you're going to write 6 sentences. For example, I was confused when the teacher told me I failed the exam. I'm going to write your example here. Well, you have sorry for this. Here are some ideas to help you with the speaking task. For example, what makes you feel anxious? I felt anxious when I went to the dentist, or I felt anxious when I took an exam last month. Okay, so here are some of phrases that you can use to make your 6 sentences from this exercise. Okay. And that's all for today. For homework, you are going to answer lesson 1B from your workbook, okay? And you have to study the verbs in the past tense, okay? So thank you and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.